European Understatement is a way to exercise discretion when we design and build your house. It's a design approach where the average bystander will look at your house and think to themselves, that's a nice house, but they never really understand how nice it is unless they know what to look for. Our typical clients want a nice home, and they bring along nice things like artwork and family heirlooms. They also want to protect those nice things, which usually cost more than the house, and thus discretion is a good idea, because you don't want every passerby to immediately wonder what's inside. And in order to understand the concept, you have to experience it firsthand. My first experience with European Understatement was with cars. My mother's German, and we'd visit family overseas when I was growing up, and this was 25 years ago, and I'm starting to discover girls and cars. Well, my mother's always driven BMWs in the States, and I'm old enough to see that there's a big difference between my mom's BMW and my Uncle Hans's BMW. And so I asked Hans, I say, Hans, ich habe eine Frage. Dein Auto ist viel schneller als das BMW meiner Mutter. Warum gibt es so? And my Uncle Hans, he answers, ach ja, es gibt eine Entscheidung. Das ist ein M5. And then I ask him, wofür ist dein Modelnummer? To which he responds, ich habe keine. Das ist nicht wichtig. And this is important to me, because as I grew older, as precept turned into practice, my understanding of European Understatement took on a whole new meaning. So you own a business and you have a diverse employee demographic. Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. In other words, it's okay to have nice stuff, but you don't necessarily want to advertise it to everyone that you see. For my Uncle Hans's car, for those that know BMWs, that model he drove at the time was the fastest production car in the world, but you wouldn't know it unless you knew what to look for. You know, the tailpipes, the bigger tires, the way the engine sounds, that kind of thing. And so when we design and build your home, we're going to put in features that not everyone will recognize as significant, just those that can appreciate that kind of quality. For instance, when your cleaning lady comes in to polish the marble in the foyer, she may notice that the columns match the floor, and she'll say to herself, well, that's nice, and move on to the dining room. Your friends, however, will look at those and say, whoa there, hold on, how did you do that? Are those real marble columns? To which you can explain that your builder went halfway around the world to make sure they were hand carved from the same block of material your floors came from. And I'll close with this story. Growing up, and even today, we eat at my grandparents' house for dinner on Wednesday nights. Well, one night she had invited a friend over for dinner, and after we ate, her friend was looking around at the artwork in the house, and she zeroed in on some sketch of an older man, and she comments, well, oh, how lovely, Marina, which is my grandmother's name. It's a translation of her name, Mariechen, in German. And she goes on, well, did one of your grandchildren draw this? So nice. To which my grandmother responded, oh, it's an old sketch we liked. And this was probably 20 years ago. And my cousins and I shared a look and some giggles because she didn't notice, and not everyone needs to know, that she was looking at a Rembrandt.